Okay. Okay, there's a question on what is the purpose of insert slicer, that we shall see. Okay, today we will not have time to cover slicer. Next session, we will look at slicer and timeline, Sriram. Only numerical values should be used in the values. Yes, Srikanth, correct. Can we do calculations with pivot tables data? Yes, we can do calculations and we shall be seeing that in our training. If I close the pivot table, how do I get it again? You have to recreate it. Closing meaning, if you have gone and completely deleted the sheet, as long as you can undo and bring it back, that is one option, ribbon. But the other way is you create it again. If you're asking me if you have closed pivot table fields, how do you bring it back? If you have closed the pivot table fields, how do you bring it back? You click in the pivot table, you get the design, analyze. Under analyze, as I told you, there is field list here, right? You have to click on the field list and it comes back. Okay. If you have closed the pivot table fields list by mistake, but your work with the pivot table is not yet over, you need to continue working on it. You go back to pivot table analyze ribbon, which is a contextual ribbon. Remember that. If you have clicked outside the pivot table, that ribbon will not come. Only when you click inside the table, the ribbon will come. And in the last section, we have fields list. Click on it and it comes back. Okay, Rohini, I will answer your question in a minute. You're saying you're unable to delete the blank rows, right? I'll redo that towards the end of the class. I'll show you, okay? Okay, Satish is asking in the main sheet, it is showing negatives for profits. Will it come as red? Yes, it is supposed to come as red, provided we format it. Here we have not done formatting on this data. So let's do the formatting. I will just select everything. Value field settings, number format. All of this is currency value. Let's not put any decimals. I'll use dollar symbol, and negatives I want to show like this. Okay. So in one go, let's see. It's formatting column wise only. So let me go here very quickly then. Value field settings, number. Where's that? Currency. So you can see average profit, minimum profit I will format and show now because I want to show that negative values representation. See, if there is negative, it's coming in brackets, red color. Okay, so you need to format it. Every time you create a pivot table, in that table, you have to format your data. Okay, within that table, you need to format your data. Yeah, the same can be done even by going to the home ribbon, and then on the home ribbon, from here, you can go and change it to currency. From there, you can go and choose the accounting symbol. From there, you can reduce the decimals. Of course, you can do it from here as well. Naveen, you can do it from there also. Ripon, I think your question was answered, right? On the right side, when you get it off the table, how to bring it back. Okay. So I hope you understood whatever we discussed so far. We can even have multiple copies of that field, and each field you can present it with a different aggregation, with a different way in which you would want to summarize your data. Okay. So the last thing I would like to show you here is what happens when we are dealing with dates. Okay, that is a very interesting feature. So let me go ahead and unhide everything that I hid between these two cells. I will unhide it. So all of them have come back. Now I want another pivot table. So I'll go here, click on summarize with pivot table. Click on OK. It has opened a new sheet. One more table for me now. Pivot table 3. And here we give a name. If we want, we can give a name. Copy chain, date pivot, I will call it. Okay, copy chain, date pivot. I have answered multiple times, no, where to use pivot tables. Swarupasya, please refer back to the recording. Looking at your question, I repeated the whole thing one more time. Where do we use it? Why are we creating it? What is its purpose? I began with that, then I repeated the whole thing. Okay, please don't mind. Go through the recording. All right. So when we use a date field, how does our data get summarized? We shall see that. I'm going to bring the date into the rows shelf. If you observe the data that is present in the date field, right? We have the complete data. We have the information about the day and the month and the year. However, though we have the complete detail over here, when we present our date in a pivot table format, it is automatically rolled up by year. Okay, notice it's showing 12 and 13. These are the 2 years for which we have data in coffee chain. Okay. Then when we click on the plus sign, it drills down. It's showing us different quarters present in that year for which we have data. If I drill down further, it will show me different months for which I have data and all. So why is this happening? This happens because dates are always grouped by default. Okay. When I dragged and dropped date in the rows shelf, you can notice that it automatically split it into year, quarter, and date. Okay, now let's say I don't want to present my data like this. I want to show it at month level. I just want to show the list of months, Jan through December. So how do we change that? We can go to Pivot Data Analyze, and there is one section here called as Group Selection. So when I go down to Group Selection, there is an option called as Group Field. Now when I go to Group Field, you can see this is what it's showing, year, quarter, month, everything. But I just want to present my data at month level of detail. Okay, overall the performance of the business in Jan, overall performance in Feb, overall performance in March. So I'm interested in focusing on the months. So I'm going to select months here and click on OK. Now you can see how it has rearranged or reorganized my data. It's showing me only the list of months because that is how I prefer to show my data. How did I do it again? I went to the group selection option here, went to group field, and I wanted months. So I selected only months. What if I select only quarters? It will show me quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. So depending on exactly what you want to present, you can present it. But if you want multiple things also, you can select multiple things. All right, here I want only months. So I'll keep months selected and click on OK. Then whatever data we might want to put in there, we will simply drag and drop under values. Okay, so you can see the data has now appeared. Of course, you need to remember to format it. You can go to the home ribbon and format it from here. Or you could go in the other method that I showed.